So I wanted to give YouTube the exclusive, but then I realized I could make a TikTok quick, and so I did that instead. But you're hearing in real time the second most exclusive. My ARCs have come in, my Blood Like Fate advanced reader copies. I have it here in my hands here. It's got Voya, the main character, on the cover in her white dress, not a wedding dress, just a white dress with her little red streak here, which if you've read the first book, you'll know what that is. And Blood Like Fate is the sequel to my debut novel, Blood Like Magic. By the way, I guess I should introduce myself in case you are new here. I'm Liselle Sambury. I'm a traditionally published author. And yeah, I'm really excited to have my advanced copies. It's so fun to like physically hold your book. It is once again a chunker, but you know, that's the brand and that's what we've come to expect. But I'm really excited just to like see it in print, and I'll get to like do a nice little stack of them on my bookshelf once I organize myself for the day. And it's just like super exciting to see it in 3D. You can see the little spine there, which has Voya's little face on the bottom, the same as the first book, which is exciting. And yeah, I'm super happy to have the ARCs, and I really wasn't expecting them at all. Like, I got a UPS email for like a different UPS package, and in Canada, because we don't usually get UPS, I like will notice extra if something UPS is coming to me. But I just like wasn't at all prepared. And then I saw 10 books written on the outside and I was like, oh, those are my ARCs. I asked for last year for Blood Like Magic, I got something like 24 ARCs. And it was just like too much for me to like move on my own, especially because my publisher was great. They sent out ARCs to all the like influencer people and things, like almost all of the people that I asked, as far as I know. And so they did really good outreach, and so I didn't need to be sending my book to a bunch of people. And so I ended up with so many extra copies that I was then kind of like offloading at that point, and I still have extra copies left over. I think I'm gonna do some dual giveaways. I'll give away the Blood Like Magic ARC and the Blood Like Fate ARC as like a dual thing, because yeah, I just ended up with way more ARCs than I needed, and so this time around I asked them to give me less, and yeah, it just worked out like that. So that's what I have done, and now I have some that I will get to do a giveaway or something soon. If I do a giveaway, it'll be probably on Instagram and Twitter. I just find those are the best platforms for giveaways. It'll probably just be, no, I'll repost it on Twitter. It'll be Instagram and Twitter. So if you aren't following me there yet, check me out there and follow me there. If you want to see my cool TikTok that I made for showing my ARC, you can head over to my TikTok. Everything is under my name at Liselle Sambury. But anyway, this week in this writing vlog, I'm going to be working on 2 projects. So coincidentally, I'll be working on past pages for Blood Like Fate. Past pages is essentially like the most final form of your book digitally, and then you just do a final proof edit before it gets finalized. So this was printed based off the edits I did in Copy Edits, I believe, and so I'll have to do the final version will have the proof edited version, which when I did Blood Like Magic, for Blood Like Magic, the ARC was actually based off of the first proof, and then I later did a second proof, which was like extremely minor. So the ARC was actually really, really close to the final version. And Blood Like Fate, the ARC will still be close to the final version, but it'll be a little bit tighter in terms of the writing because I've been discovering some like filler words in my past pages that I wanted to cut out more. So yeah, that's also a note for me when I go and do my copy edits and my line edits and stuff like that for Butcher Birds, my 3rd book, to be much more conscious of cutting down, because clearly I didn't do enough cutting down in line edits and copy edits for Blood Like Fate, because I'm still cutting down in the past pages. But that's okay. We've made our peace with it. It's the way it's gonna be. And yeah, I'm gonna be done that probably tomorrow, and then I have to jump right into edits for Butcher Birds. I'm gonna be doing my line edits for that, and so I'll have to get started on that on Wednesday, and that's going to be a much longer process because that's probably going to go on, well, I know it's going to go on because I've meticulously planned it. That's going to go on all the way until the 1st of February for me to get those line edits done. So yeah, that's what this writing vlog is going to be. It's going to be partly me working on my past pages and then partly me working on my line edits. And oh shit. I'm laughing because I had to cut that cut you just saw. I had to cut because I accidentally said the new title of my 2023 book, Butcher Birds, and I had to stop because I realized I wasn't supposed to say it. Anyway, on with the vlog. I was actually going to name this vlog, I was gonna name it like working on two of my most hated edits, because I don't like past pages and I don't like line edits. But I had a very pleasant experience with my Blood Like Fate past pages, and now I'm working on line edits for Butcher Birds. Has a different title but can't reveal it yet. I'm working on those line edits and it was actually like fine. It was fine. Everything was fine. I even walked on my walking desk because I need the 2 screens, so I have to work at my computer, and so I used my treadmill desk, and that was great. That was all very pleasant. I'm very surprised, which part of me is like bracing for things to suddenly get worse and for me to hate this process, but I've been pleasantly surprised. These line edits have been like so far so good. I'm very excited about getting to like do like a in-depth read through of the book. I'm also kind of getting rid of filler words as I go, you know, using just too much or using little or things like that. But overall it's going pretty well. I continue to be happy with where the story is going. My authenticity reader got back to me. The great thing is they have a law background, so they were also able to give me some tidbits about some like legal things that I had mentioned in the book, which was really helpful because they work in that specific type of law, whereas my partner, he's also a lawyer, but he works in a different kind of law, so it's not really his field of speciality. So it was kind of like ended up being a double authenticity read because they were not only correcting me on stuff about the setting but also on like some legal term things. So I learned some stuff. I also learned, wow, Liselle, in the future you should like really look up this stuff more in depth before you put it into the story. It turned out fine, but I was like, oh yeah, wow, I really gotta look into this a lot more. But yeah, line edits are going well, thankfully. I've decided to do 50 pages a day, so it's gonna take me a little bit to do it. My deadline isn't till February 6th, so I'll actually still be done early, but I'm still kind of trying to only do 50 pages a day. It's just like, because I know that I struggle with line edits, if I have to do so much more, I can feel myself. I know that I'll start like skimming or cutting corners, and I want to do a really, really good thorough read through, especially because when I was doing my past pages for Blood Like Fate, I was correcting some things where I was like, Liselle, you should have corrected this in your line edit read through. This shouldn't have gone this far. So I am really trying to get in depth with this one so I don't have that same experience. And that is going well. I almost forgot, which I can't believe I did. I got sent a package by Macmillan, the publisher, and it included The Red Palace by June Her. This is a historical mystery. It's set in Joseon era Korea, and it follows a young girl, and she works in the palace, and one of her closest friends is accused of murdering 4 girls in one night, and so she ends up teaming up with a police investigator to figure out who the real killer is and to like exonerate her friend. I'm so excited for this. I'm really like excited. The publisher also sent this fantastic piece of artwork here, and I believe this is the main character Haeyeon, and this I believe is the police inspector Yojin, I believe is his name. So I'm really excited. I used to think that I wouldn't like historical fiction just because I never liked history in school. And when I read June's first book, The Silence of Bones, I absolutely loved it. The mystery was so cool. I cried. It was very emotional. And I was like, oh, I actually do really love historical fiction. And since reading her book, I've actually been a lot more active about like, you know, picking up historical fiction books. I don't have that like blocker where I'm like, oh, I don't think I'll like historical fiction. I actually really enjoy it now, and I absolutely love her books. Her second book was The Forest of Stolen Girls. That one's also fantastic, so I cannot wait to read The Red Palace. I'm really excited for it. Yeah, she's absolutely a fantastic author. I'd recommend for historical fiction and mysteries. Historical mysteries, they're all mystery books, and she is part of the Toronto Writers Group, but still good books. That's not biased to me. Yeah, I just think they're really fantastic mysteries, and you should definitely check them out. And I'm really excited that I have this copy. Actually, should we look at the nakedness? I haven't looked yet. It's white with a red spine that says The Red Palace. I love that. I love looking at the nakedness of hardcovers. But yeah, I cannot wait. There's gonna be like court politics and stuff in this as well, so very excited. I believe this is out as of the time I'm filming this vlog next Tuesday, so it'll probably be out for purchase like by the time this video goes up, and I'll have links below for you to check it out. must show you my plant. So this is my new plant. I got 2 plants, but this is the cuter one. Look at it. I forget what it's called. I looked it up and then just like immediately forgot. So that's on me. But I have seen these plants around the internet and I've always wanted one. But I can only get plants here where I live at the Home Depot and they've just like never had it. But this time when I went, they did have it and it's so cute. I just love feeling the little bulbs, and I will have to figure out how to take care of it because if this dies, I will like cry. I'll be so sad. I'll be so sad. So yeah, that's it for the plant. Terms of edits, so I've been working on my line edits for Butcherbirds the rest of this week from Wednesday to Friday. I have walked on my walking desk every day that I've worked on it, which I'm really happy about. I want to continue doing that consistently. And I'm at page 150, so I'm about a third of the way into the book, and I'm at the point where they're settling into the house and the main character Daisy is starting to realize like how many people are being really weird about the house and kind of like being like that house is dangerous, or don't go inside the house, or like what's going on with the house. And she's getting to the point where she's like, what is happening here? And she herself has been forbidden to go inside of it, so it's kind of coming to a head for her, is kind of being like, what is happening here? And also she really needs this whole thing with the house to work out for reasons, and so the fact that everybody is freaking out about it is just creating this anxiety of like, oh my god, I can't have things go wrong. So that is the point at the book in which I am at, and I wanted to reflect a little bit because I did in the end decide to call this vlog, you know, working on my most hated edits, because this has really been a very different experience for me. I don't like doing past pages. Past pages. Past pages and line edits are like my most challenging edits. Really, that's the proper term to use. These are my most challenging edits, but hated edits is just a better video title. But yeah, they're definitely the most challenging edits. I think past pages is challenging because usually by that time, at least for the first time I did, I was really tired of reading my book at that point. And so I expected the same, and it was actually really a shock that I wasn't that tired of reading my book at that point. But then it was very easy because I'm at the last stage to get in my head about, oh my gosh, like once I do these edits, like that's basically it, like that's the end of the book, and to second guess and to be like, oh my gosh, but it ultimately ended up being really positive and it was fine. But I think, yeah, it was so challenging for me before because I was just like super tired of reading the book after reading it so many times. And then in the case of line edits, which I've talked about previously on this channel, it's like the nitpicky little edits, like, oh, they really hurt me. And because sometimes like the smallest line that I'll have put in will like rupture all these ripples of things I have to go back and fix, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I think that's challenging for me because I'm an impatient person. I am. I know that about myself. I'm impatient. I'm very, very impatient. And so that's an edit where I have to be really meticulous and really careful, and I have to dig really deep into minuscule things. And for me, the way to kind of overcome that challenge is to do what I'm doing now with Butcherbirds, is that I spread it out over like as long a period as possible. So I'm only doing 50 pages per day. So if I do kind of feel overwhelmed, I'm not doing so much of the book, like I'm not reading so much each day. I'm giving myself a lot of time, and because I know I'm doing a shorter amount, I also am taking more time to be meticulous and to look at the details and the nitty-gritty of things. I think if I had to do like 100 pages a day or something, like I would feel myself rushing through it because I would just be like, oh my god, I'm so tired, I just want to get it done. And so spreading that out over my deadline has really helped. I do have a very like good, to me, reasonable deadline for getting this work done. And so that helps. And so, yeah, that's definitely a very challenging part of edits for me. And so going through and doing that, and also because, you know, with the line edits, when I'm doing the read through, I'm again having to read my book. And I think I expected to be more tired of my book at this point, but I'm actually fine. I think the big thing is that when I went through this process the first time, I was doing it for Blood Like Magic, and the thing about Blood Like Magic is that I had done edits on it several times before I even got to the agent stage. I had done edits on it several times before we got to the submission stage. So by the time I was doing publisher edits, like I'd basically already reached the threshold of being tired of reading the book. And then I had to do it even more. And so I think that's been the difference, you know, Blood Like Fate that I wrote on Proposal, and Blood Like, sorry, not Blood Like, oh my god, that's not the title. That's not the mysterious title. With Butcher Birds, I did write it on my own ahead of time, but I had a much better process in place. Like when I first wrote Blood Like Magic, like it was the third book I had written, and I really did not have a tried and true process for how I did my writing. A lot of it was pantsing, and so I had to do a lot of fixing of mistakes. Whereas I feel like by the time I got to Butcher Birds, I was so practiced in my technique. I had a structure that I was working in. I understood characters a lot more. And so when I did my first edits, I wasn't having to do this huge overhaul that required me to do like several rounds of edits. And so I think that also has made a difference. So yeah, that's the big, I guess the learning point for me is that, yeah, I guess that's progress. That's growth. Like I'm doing better and things are getting better as I go on, which seems kind of ridiculous to me. But, you know, I would hear people, I'd watch like a booktuber or something, and they'd be reviewing a debut novel, and they'd be like, but you know, it's a debut. And I remember being like, wait, what? Because to me, like getting to the debut process, like getting to have your first book published was such an undertaking, and it was such a challenge, and it was so much work to get to that point. I didn't even think of the fact that like it's still your first published book, and you're still going to learn and do better and improve, hopefully, as you go on to more books. And so even though, you know, for us like writers pursuing traditional publishing, by the time you get to the book being published, you're like, this is my best book. Like, this is the best thing I've written out of everything that's come before. But, you know, I guess as a reader, you haven't read all the things that have come before. You read the first one that made it. And so I understand that feeling of, oh, you know, it's a debut, and I kind of expect their books to get better as they go on. So that's my deep reflection on my two most hated / actually just challenging edits, and kind of how I've, I guess, developed doing those edits from my first book until now, and also how I've like worked to make those things easier for myself, or not really easier, but like how I've combated those challenges essentially. So yeah, that's it for this writing vlog now that I've rambled on. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. The plant is here to also thumbs up. I don't know why. I've been holding it this whole time. It's kind of weird. Anyway, if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next writing vlog. Bye!